Hello everyone and welcome back. My name is Shaunneka and today I will be guiding you through a morning yin yoga sequence. So this one is going to be a very well-rounded practice. We will be holding each posture between 3.5 and 4 minutes long. Doing yin yoga first thing in the morning is so beneficial because the body is still cold and it allows just a little bit more of a pull on those ligaments so that you can really reap the benefits of your yin yoga practice. So for this practice you are not going to need any props and we will go ahead and get started with our toe squat. So finding a tabletop position, tucking your toes under, and sitting back onto your heels. Again, dragging your pinky toes forward, just making sure they're all on the mat. Drawing your shoulders away from the ears and down the back. Taking some nice deep breaths here. Maybe you make some neck rotations in one direction. Switching directions. Bringing the head back to neutral. So coming into our last few breaths here. If you'd like to go just a little bit deeper, simply inchworm your knees closer to the top of the mat so that you're just on your toes as opposed to the ball of the foot. Last few breaths. Let's take our last 2 breaths. Nice big inhale, fill up. Open the mouth and sigh it out. One more inhale. And exhale. Open the eyes, bring the hands forward at the knees, Untuck the toes. You can rotate through the ankles. Wiggle the toes. Maybe tapping the toes on top of the mat. And we will go ahead and just counter stretch everything just below the knee, top of the shin, top of the foot. So sitting back onto your heels, fingertips nice and light behind you, unless of course sitting like this, you're already feeling enough of a stretch. We'll only be here for about 3 breaths. Otherwise, bringing your fingertips behind you, gently lifting the knees up off of the mat for a count of 3. Feeling that nice stretch along the tops of the feet. 2. Nice big inhale here. And on the exhale, lower. Rock forward, untuck the toes, and give the feet a wiggle. From here, we will be making our way into dangling, and one of the wonderful things about doing toe squat before dangling is that it does release tension in the back line of the body, so you may notice that you feel a little bit more ease in this dangling posture. So bringing your feet as wide as the mat, and you want to have a nice generous bend in your knees, so you don't want to be hyperextending, allowing the belly to drape over the thighs. And as you're here, noticing where you're placing your weight, maybe it's too far forward, too far back, find a nice middle ground. You can always stay here with your hands on your knees, if that feels better, or otherwise just allowing the head to drop. And allow the shoulder blades to drop. You can even make fists, place them in the eyes of your elbows for added weight. Really thinking about swelling up through the back of the rib cage. Feeling your belly expand against your thighs. Making our way into our last few breaths here. take our last 2 breaths. Nice big inhale, fill up. And side out, drop a little heavier. One more inhale. And exhale. Lifting the gaze and planting the palms in front of you. Just go ahead and drop to one knee and the other. And maybe sitting back onto your heels feels nice. Just allowing the body to reset. So normally after dangling, dangling is followed by malasana squat, but for today we're going to follow dangling by frog. So finding that tabletop position, opening your knees as wide as is comfortable for you, making sure your toes and your knees are pointing in the same direction and your knees are in line with your hips. Before coming down, think about sending your hips back, bringing your forearms to the mat. So you want to make sure you're not pushing all of your weight into your elbows, walking your elbows forward, maybe just a little bit if you're finding there's tension in the shoulders. Avoid any gripping sensations in the inner thighs, allowing everything to be soft, and always remembering to send your hips back. You can also think of it as tilting your hips or tilting your tailbone towards the ceiling. Making our way into our last few breaths here. If you'd like to go deeper, you can bring your chest onto the mat without compromising the integrity of your hips, so your hips do not move. And you can also bring your forehead onto stacked palms. Our last 2 breaths, a nice big inhale. And sigh it out. One more inhale. And exhale. Came all the way down. Come back up onto your forearms. And you're just going to shift your weight forward, coming onto your belly. You can leave your legs wide. Just let the forehead rest on stacked palms for a moment. Lifting the gaze. So bringing your shoulders in line with your elbows. They can be slightly forward of your shoulders, just a little bit. Palms are spread nice and wide. And you want to think about pulling your elbow points towards your hip points so that you drag your chest forward. Feet are about as wide as your mat, and everything below the waist is nice and relaxed. So you should be feeling slight compression in the low back, but not pinching. If you're feeling a pinching sensation, then I invite you to come down just a little bit lower, or maybe even onto stacked palms. Always making sure you're not sinking into your shoulder girdle. I know I have a tendency to do that. We are coming into our last few breaths. If you'd like, you could stay here. If you want to go a little bit further, take your palms, point them towards the top corners of your mat, push into your palms, and straighten your arms. And walking your hands in as close or as far away as is comfortable for you. our last 2 breaths. Nice big inhale. Really bring that breath right up underneath the armpits. Inhale. Open the mouth and sigh it out. One more inhale. And exhale. Lowering the belly and the chest all the way back down onto the mat. Stack the forehead on palms. You can inchworm the legs together. Just shimmy out the hips from side to side here. Maybe bend the knees. Windshield wiper the knees from side to side. From here, making our way into a variation of cat pulling tail. So coming onto your left side, and you're going to swing that right leg all the way forward. From here, you're going to bend your left knee, and you're going to grab onto your toes or the top of the foot. You're looking to point that left knee towards the bottom of your mat. You can then inchworm yourself, so I like to push my left elbow into the mat, pick up my chest, and lower myself back down. I take my hand and I place it underneath my head, and I look up towards the ceiling as I gradually try to bring my right shoulder to the mat. So you should be feeling a nice pull at the top of the left quad and along the IT band and the hamstring of the right leg. And of course, you don't have to have your hand behind your head. You can bring it up beside you. You can even place it on top of the leg if that's more comfortable. And you'll notice that the more open you become in your upper body, the more your right shoulder is going to want to drop to the mat. So you can always, again, push into your left elbow, pick up your chest, and twist a little bit deeper. Come into our last few breaths here. Maybe you grab onto that right big toe with your left hand. And if you are grabbing onto the toe, keeping a slight bend in the knee. our last 2 breaths. Nice big inhale, fill up. And sigh it out. Last one, inhale. And exhale. Gently release the grip of the left foot, right foot, bending everything back and rolling onto your back. Just let that air out before we come to the other side. So let's set ourselves up for the other side, rolling all the way onto your right side this time. Swing your left leg all the way forward. Bend the right knee, grab a hold of your right foot with your left hand, and lower yourself onto the mat. Push into your right elbow, pick up your chest to help you twist just a little bit further. Again, you can place the hand underneath your head, or you can place it on top of that left leg. And also too, just making sure you're not scrunching. Think about pulling your left arm down and towards the mat. Making our way into our last few breaths here. You can grab a hold of the left big toe, keeping a bend in that knee. Last few breaths. Last 2 breaths. Nice big inhale. And sigh it out. One more inhale. And exhale. Gently release the grip. Bring yourself all the way back onto your back. Bringing the soles of the feet to touch, arms out wide for your Savasana. You can always bring your arms up above. Or I like to place my hands on my legs. So feeling free to stay here for as long as you'd like. I do hope you enjoyed this morning's practice, and I will see you back here again soon. Have a wonderful rest of your day.